This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, I want to talk about Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. To me, this fight would be a joke. Let me tell you why it would be a joke. Danny Garcia is sitting here running his mouth. You know, I notice every time Danny Garcia has another fight coming up, hence the fight he has now coming up against Sean Porter, he want to run his mouth and talk smack about Terrence Crawford. Look, man, in the amateurs, you guys were 1-1. I get it. But the bottom line is, you guys want to sit here and give credit to your win, but then you want to turn around and act like Terrence Crawford didn't beat you in the blue and gold. I don't want to hear that nonsense, man. Stop the presses. The fact of the matter is, like Terrence Crawford said, everybody remembers the last time you won. And everybody remembers what you did last. I'm going to say that again. Everybody remembers what you did last. And what happened last? Terrence Crawford won. Terrence Crawford is the better fighter. There is no argument against this. Even people that are Danny Garcia fans will tell you this. They're going to sit here and say, well, Danny Garcia has the better resume, etc., etc. Okay, you can run with that if that's what you're going to run with. But skills pay the bills, man. And if you sit here and you're a true boxing connoisseur and you're sitting back and you're watching a Danny Garcia of the world versus a Terrence Crawford of the world, you know Terrence Crawford got way more layers to his game, to his arsenal, his boxing, his boxing pugilism over Danny Garcia. This man can box orthodox. This man can sit there and box southpaw on you. This man can sit there and pivot his foot. This Mayweather type stuff. This man can left check hook you. This man can sit there and uppercut you. This man can sit here and throw right hooks. This man can hit right hand leads, left hand leads. This man can sit there, come in there, and pop shot you. And he could go toe to toe. And he got a dog in him. How is Danny Garcia going to be able to go toe to toe with the likes of that? And then Terrence Crawford has this Floyd Mayweather DNA, the same DNA that Errol Spence has. They get stronger as the fight goes on. So how does Danny Garcia have a chance? That's what I'm trying to say, man. Sit your butt down, Danny Garcia. At best, you are a B- fighter. And this is me giving you too much credit. The true and proper level you belong on is C+. That's what you are. That fight that you had against Keith Thurman, Keith Thurman exposed you, man. He showed that the level that you truly belong on. And to me, when I'm ranking the welterweight division, Keith Thurman to me is the third best welterweight in that division. You know, a lot of people don't want to give Keith Thurman his love and his respect because, you know, he's been out. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. You know, the fact that, you know, he's just scared of Errol Spence, the True Jr., a.k.a. Free Smoke, a.k.a. nobody wants smoke with that boy. And I understand why. Because like I said, that dude is a true body snatcher. If he gets one punch, you know, to that rib area, that rib section, he is done. He's going to be pissing blood. So I get it. I understand why he don't want to fight against Errol Spence. It makes all the sense in the world to me. And why he's found a way to just let, you know, the WBC pretty much take his belt. Like, he gave up a belt. That's how scared he is of Errol Spence, to ensure that he wouldn't have to fight that dude. And he want no parts of that dude no time soon. So I get it. But if I'm ranking in the welterweight division, I got Errol Spence Jr. as my number one welterweight. I got Terrence Crawford as my number two. Only reason why I got Errol Spence over Terrence Crawford at this point, and if you guys have seen, I've kind of leaned towards Errol Spence more, is because Errol Spence has been in the welterweight division longer than the likes of a Terrence Crawford. And Errol Spence has proven himself in the 147 division. People want to sit here and constantly knock, you know, Errol Spence. That's what I'm wondering. Is Roy Jones Jr. punch drunk, man? Did he get too many blows to the head? I'm really starting to worry about this dude when he sat here and spew that nonsense and let that crap come out of his mouth saying Mikey Garcia can beat Errol Spence. I mean, come on, man. You really bought by HBO that much to the point where you're just not giving unbiased, you know, a viewpoint. That's why you're there as one of those commentators. You're supposed to be unbiased in your view. You're supposed to tell it the way it's supposed to be, not the way that you getting your paycheck, not who you getting your paycheck from. And that's what he's doing, man. Like, he's too HBO biased, talking about Lomachenko has a better chance against Mikey Garcia versus the likes of an Errol Spence. Are you freaking kidding me, man? There's weight classes for a reason. So you trying to tell me a guy that walks around anywhere between 177 to 180 pounds This is walk around weight. Fights in the 147 division is gonna get beat by a 135 pounder? Are you freaking kidding me? Come on, man. Let's stop this. Let's stop the presses, man, and let's keep it real for a second. Mikey Garcia has no chance in a boxing ring against the likes of Errol Spence, and I will do a part 3 on that Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. Lay around for it in another video because, in the last video, I gave a fair and astute assessment of the Errol Spence versus the Mikey Garcia, and what I'm getting back is, folks talking about, how I'm picking Errol Spence because he's the black fighter. I mean, really? No, it's not about that. It's about looking at boxing for what it truly is. To me, I'm looking at the skills. It's not about the color of the person's skin. It's about the skills. Let's keep everything in its true and proper context. We're talking about sports here. We're talking about the sport of boxing. In the sport of boxing, there's weight classes for a reason. We've all said this. Anyone that knows boxing understands that. The smaller and good or great guy, when he goes up in weight and he tries to fight the bigger good or great guy that's just as good as him, if not better, what is the outcome all the time? What is the outcome 95% of the time? The bigger guy wins. You know why? Because he's in a bigger weight class. He punches harder. He's heavier. That's just common sense, man. Like, this is not something that I'm sitting here and making up and conjuring up. This is something that has happened through the history of boxing over and over and over again. And I'm just giving you basically what is the obvious. And anyone that resides in the realm of common sense and has that, because I have worlds of that, understands that it is what it is, man. You got to call a spade a spade. I'm going to say that again. You got to call a spade a spade. And that's what I'm doing, man. I'm calling the spade for what it is, a spade. There's no reason that a Mikey Garcia can step into a ring with the likes of an Errol Spence. Hence, there's no reason that a Danny Garcia can step in the likes with a Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's skills are too overwhelming for him. And the thing with Terrence Crawford is he's only getting better and better. Danny Garcia's skills has plateaued, man. You could see that. If you're really using the eye test and you're really sitting back and not being a biased Danny Garcia fan and you're really watching boxing for what it truly is, this man just has his simple 1 and 2s, his nice little simple jabs, and he got that strong right hand. But the thing is, he can only use the right hand in very slow motion timing situations. Keith Thurman exposed that. In their fight, Keith Thurman put it out there, man. Like, he basically gave the blueprint on how to beat Danny Garcia before he stepped in the ring with him. He was like, man, he's just going to do the simple 1 and 2s. He's very slow with his timing. And he just basically waits until you really, really slipping so he can throw that right hook. And what ended up happening in the fight? That's exactly what ended up happening. If he brings that against the likes of a Terrence Crawford, he's not going to win, man. Because what happens when Terrence Crawford goes orthodox on him? And then Terrence Crawford say, okay, let me switch southpaw on him. And then let me switch it back. And then let me switch it back. He's not going to be able to handle that onslaught. What happens when Terrence Crawford say, okay, I'm going to go, toe-to-toe with him in the middle of the ring, and I'm going to pop shot him? What's going to happen? What's going to happen when Terrence Crawford say, okay, I'm going to dance around him. I'm going to left pivot. I'm going to use my pivot foot, and I'm going to keep pivoting him around the ring. We saw Keith Thurman do that, and Keith Thurman is not as coordinated as Terrence Crawford with it. And when Keith Thurman was using his footwork, he was making Danny Garcia miss, man. He was making Danny Garcia look like a joke out there. But Terrence Crawford is way better in that department than him. See, this is the stuff that people need to understand and people need to put in their brains. There is not going to be no likelihood, unless Terrence Crawford has an injury that we don't know about that's really serious, or unless Terrence Crawford just comes so out of shape and not prepared for that fight. There is no likelihood or no scenario where Terrence Crawford steps into a ring with a Danny Garcia and he's going to lose. That's not going to happen. And the dog that's in a Terrence Crawford, because like I said, although I rank Errol Spence a little bit above him at this point, I feel like once Terrence Crawford gets his weight truly adjusted to the 147 division and he's truly that true 147 pounder, I feel like once that ends up happening, I feel like that fight's gonna be a lot closer. Although I still am going to lean more on Errol Spence's side because Errol Spence is just a bigger guy, and you know he's just a body snatcher, man. I mean, the way that guy hits, he hits with evil intentions, man. I mean, he just hits every shot. It's like he's trying to take the life out of you, and I don't know. I don't know if Terrence Crawford can stand up to that, and that's why I feel that I put Errol Spence over him. But when it comes to skills, Terrence Crawford does have the better skills, and this is why I feel if there's anybody in the welterweight division that has that chance against Errol Spence, because at the end of the day, even though I'm a fan of Errol Spence, it's my job to be unbiased and to tell it for what it is and tell you the truth. Although I like Errol Spence, I feel like Terrence Crawford is the only one that has enough skills in the welterweight division to unseat him and to beat him. I'm going to say that again. I feel like Terrence Crawford has enough skills in the welterweight division to unseat him and to beat him. I do feel that because his skills is that to that level, man. You got to give him respect. I mean, it's damn near like a borderline Floyd Mayweather, man. He don't have the defense over Floyd Mayweather or Pernell Whitaker, but his defense is damn near close, and I feel like every fight he gets better and better. So I got to give Terrence Crawford his just due. And in this fight, man, I just don't see a scenario where Danny Garcia ends up victorious. So that whole online beef you doing with Terrence Crawford, when Terrence Crawford say he owns one of the blocks, and Errol Spence say I own that other block, they telling the truth, man. Those are the two baddest boys in the welterweight division. They own both of those blocks, and everybody else is right up under them. And if anybody else tells you otherwise, they telling you nonsense. So I'm just basically putting it out there that in a fight of Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia, there is no possibility or no likelihood, unless, like I said, Terrence Crawford is seriously injured or he comes into that fight seriously out of shape, that a Danny Garcia beats him. And that's just the real. Anyone that has anything else to say or anyone that disagrees, just comment. You know, if you have anything that you feel is you know, like that you want to mention and stuff like that, yeah, let me know. But I'm just putting it out there. And please, don't give me no biased stuff and say, oh, Danny Garcia is going to win because of the competition. No, come with credible stuff. So that way I can understand where you're coming from. Because I've done that in this video. I've told you, there is no possibility where a Danny Garcia beats a Terrence Crawford. This is Hinos' Sport. Checking out.